This is an age-old question, Tyvek versus Zip. Over the years, I've gotten a lot of comments in my videos. What do you think about this system versus the other? Because I've been on YouTube now for 11 years. I have 700 videos. I actually have quite a few videos about both systems that I've used over the years. But in the build show today, I'm really going to be addressing a specific attack video that the Tyvek guys have been publishing. And in fact, they're using YouTube to run this ad before a lot of my videos, and I've got a bunch of comments about this specific video. Let's watch a quick clip here.
When zip system coated sheathing boards are installed, they're fastened using power-driven nails, which are often over-penetrated a bit. This over-penetration compromises the zip sheathing protective coating and creates a path for water to enter the wall system.
All right, so this ad, or video I should say, seems to be independent testing and goes on to show how those nail holes in the zip sheathing are leaking, whereas their house wrap doesn't have any problems with those. Now, it's an interesting ad, and it does pose a good question that is worth delving into, so we're going to take a few minutes now to actually look at this. So first off, what is this test? This is the ASTM E331-00 2016. It's the standard test method for water penetration of exterior windows, skylights, doors, and curtain walls by uniform static air pressure difference. Now, Jordan Smith went down to the Huber factory where they made plywood. We published that video a while back. And while he was there, they set up a side-by-side test with the same spray rack of these two wall assemblies to see if they could reproduce this. Now, I wasn't there in person, but I got a chance to look through all the footage and talk to Jordan, so I'm going to talk you through it now. So first off, they set up the two assemblies, really using the best practice methods. Then they put a spray rack on them to mimic an 8-inch per hour rainstorm. That's basically 5 gallons per hour per square foot on the wall. The interesting part about this test is then they're going to depressurize the backside of the wall as if there's pressure that would actually force any moisture into the wall cavity. Now, behind the white house wrap, they put a tissue paper so that any moisture back there, they could see it. And in between the zip panel and the studs, they also put that same tissue paper. So any penetration of moisture or liquid water coming through there would be really, really obvious. Now, this test is only a failure if there's liquid water into the cavity. Remember that. You're gonna see that in the future. Now, what happened on the test? They ran this test at their facility for almost an hour. There was absolutely 0 leaks on the zip side. All those overdriven fasteners, none of them leaked on this test. On the Tyvek, again, no leaks into the cavity, but what was interesting is that when you cut away the house wrap, you actually saw that the cap fasteners leaked. Now, I've used cap fasteners for years, and they do a great job of keeping the house wrap on the house when it's windy, but what I didn't realize is they're not actually great at waterproofing. Now, if you go on to later in this video, you're going to see how they put a column of water on top of an overdriven fastener on the zip, and then use that same column of water over Tyvek, and they're going to show you how that column of water just drips all the way down through that nail. But what they don't show you is right here. Look at this. If you look closely at that, the cap fasteners are on the corners, and there's no caps where that water column is, so it's just bare Tyvek, basically, that's holding out that head of water. Now, if this was really a independent test, they would put those water columns on the green part of the zip sheathing and dead center, or they'd put them both on fasteners. And I'll tell you what happens if you put that over a cap fastener with a head of water, the same exact thing happens. That head of water is going to fall down and it's going to leak through there. And that's exactly what we've seen on that test. And I've also run kind of a backyard version of that test that I did on a not too long ago video where it was not Tyvek, it was a less good woven house wrap, which I would not recommend using, and you saw how those cap fasteners leaked at that intersection. Anytime you've got a mechanical penetration through there and you've got a head of water, which means you're acting like a bathtub, right, or a basement waterproofing, it's going to leak through there. Neither one of these materials are meant for basement waterproofing. They're all above grade waterproofing. The house wrap, because those cap fasteners leaked, is going to soak the face of the OSB in this test. Now, that is not a failure in the test, and they don't mention that. They don't get into that because it's on the face of the OSB rather than coming into the cavity. But the takeaway on this is we couldn't reproduce it. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not sure if they just drove the pressure up crazy high and that's how they got those nails to leak. but we couldn't reproduce that. Ultimately, though, this test does not matter. This test is for fenestrations, for windows, and not house wrap testing. This is not really a good test of house wraps. Neither system is going to see the kind of rain that you're seeing from these spray racks because you're going to have a cladding attached on the face. The cladding is going to get soaked, and not nearly as much water is going to get back there, and you're also not going to have that kind of pressure forcing it in. So really, this test is not a great test. It's not meant for house wraps, and it's a little bit suspect in the way that this ad that's playing before my videos is showing you how it works. It's not really a good apples to apples comparison. Ultimately, both these systems I've used in the past and I think are good systems, and on a well-designed house, and ultimately if they're installed correctly, you're not going to have problems with either one of these systems. They're not bad systems. You need to choose which one is right for you. Now, I will tell you there are a few advantages to Zip that I've found that's really led me towards that as a system over the last couple years. The big one for me is that it acts as an air barrier as well as a water barrier. That Zip system tape is acrylic based and really, really bomber. You know, I'll be honest, when Zip came out on the market a little over 10 years ago and I first saw it, I thought, that's a terrible idea. Duct tape is not going to last on a house. I thought, you know, this is not going to happen. I've seen for years peel and sticks that stuck one day, the next day peeled right off the house. However, the peel and sticks that you and I are typically used to seeing are either butyl based or asphalt based. That's super old technology. The new technology with acrylic tapes that the Zip system tape is based on, once you roll that on and get that pressure on there, man, it is stuck. What really changed my mind on the system was visiting the UT Durability Lab. I made some videos about 5 years ago, I'll link in the description on this, that showed how the Zip system, even exposed to the Texas sun and heat for years without a cladding on it, has done incredibly well. This is a really durable system. On the other hand, most of the house wraps, after exposure to UV for that long, were not looking very good. So this was the first time, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that really changed my mind on Zip as a system. The other big advantage that Zip has is this is a fully applied system. That green waterproofing facer on the front is applied everywhere. So if you have a fastener or penetration through it, you're not going to see that leaking behind the face like you see on a typical house wrap with a cap fastener. The Zip's going to install in one trip around the house, and there's really no origami necessary. That's the other thing I really like about it. It's a very simple install system. Now, both systems, though, will have failures or problems if they're installed incorrectly. Remember, the Zip system is not foolproof. You need to roll the tape. That's really important. You need to have a clean substrate. You can't have a bunch of sawdust or dirt on there when you apply the tape. But there's alternatives for all that. Number one, if you have overdriven fasteners, you can simply tape over those overdriven fasteners. The tape is fantastic. Zip 1.0 works really, really well. Or you could use fluid applied. Check out my videos on Zip 2.0 where you could fluid apply it over those nail heads, or you could fluid apply it on your seams if you want to. That tape is an incredible product. They really have engineered it well. Guys, thanks for joining me on this deep dive between the two systems. As I've said, I've made a lot of videos on both systems. If they're installed correctly, they're both good systems, but I think there's a few things that have really separated Zip from the pack when it comes to air tightness, when it comes to ease of assembly. It's an excellent product, and these attack ads that they're showing, they're not balanced. They're totally biased towards the manufacturer that paid for those videos. Guys, if you're not currently a subscriber, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content every Tuesday and every Friday. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next time on The Build Show.